We are following breaking news this morning. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for coronavirus. This after his top aide, Hope Hicks, tests positive for the virus. President Trump tweeted overnight saying, in part, "We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together." As for Trump's aide, Hope Hicks, she traveled with the president to and from Tuesday's debate and a rally in Minnesota Wednesday. She was seen in photos not wearing a mask. NBC's Tracy Potts has more on what the president's positive test means for him, his presidential campaign, and for the country.
Emily, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Let's start with what's most important, the president's health. He's said to be doing well. The White House physician with a statement on that overnight. The First Lady doing well also. But this comes at a critical time. President Trump now shut down for at least 2 weeks, quarantined in the middle of the final weeks of the campaign.
I just want to say that the end of the pandemic is in sight.
President Trump's final public appearance before announcing to the world via Twitter that he and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for COVID-19, adding, "We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together."
If the president can get it, anyone can get it, and that's what's so disturbing.
The White House physician confirming that President and Mrs. Trump are feeling well and will quarantine at the White House. A senior administration official says he'll work from the White House residence. The news came shortly after we learned that Hope Hicks, one of the president's top aides, tested positive.
She has spent with the president throughout her time at the White House, not to mention in the past few days. So that will give you some sense of why the president is taking this so seriously.
Hicks was with the president at the debate in Cleveland Tuesday and in Minnesota Wednesday. That's when she began having symptoms, which means she could have been contagious earlier.
We spend a lot of time with Hope and others, so we'll see what happens.
Several White House officials, campaign staffers, and Trump family members have been in contact with Hicks in recent days. She was seen traveling on Air Force One without a mask.
This is a high-risk exposure in an enclosed environment. Everybody on that flight, 14 days quarantine, regardless of what your test shows.
Safety protocols are in place for White House staff. There's also concern about Democratic nominee Joe Biden, who stood 6 feet away from the president for an hour and a half at Tuesday's debate. The president of the United States now infected with coronavirus and unable to campaign in person for the next 2 weeks, with the election now just over a month away. President Trump was supposed to be in Orlando today for a campaign rally. That's been canceled. And this is raising questions about what the next 2 presidential debates might look like. Can they happen? And if so, how? I'm Tracy Potts, NBC 26.
Thank you, Tracy. This all comes as President Donald Trump had planned to visit the Badger State. President Trump had been scheduled to attend rallies in Janesville and in Green Bay this weekend. The White House has cleared the president's travel schedule. Meteorologist Gino Recchia joining us from his home studio this morning. What's on deck for today?
Well, Emily, I'm sure you noticed it was kind of chilly heading into work, and we do have that frost advisory in effect exactly for most of the NBC 26 area. And we are seeing temperatures right now that are down into the 30s, so a little cooler than yesterday morning. 38 degrees right now in Green Bay. We have a little bit of cloud cover starting to build in from the north, so that's helping us a tad. We're at 36 in Mountain, but you do see a few freezing marks at 32 in Menominee, Pembine as well. Some mid-30s across the Fox Valley. 40 degrees Sturgeon Bay, Ephraim as well. So not significantly cooler than what we were projecting, but right now just a few degrees warmer than that freezing mark, so that perhaps is helping some folks with some of that frost and freeze. Winds coming in out of the northwest. They will be at about 5 to 10 miles per hour today. Not too much of a breeze. You see some of that cloud cover moving down to the south. Pretty quiet in terms of the radar, but we could see a few isolated sprinkles on and off during the day today. But overall, it appears to be a more quieter day out there. Skycast is showing as you get into the afternoon, a few sprinkles are possible, but overall, it looks to be a much more dry day today. Temperatures climbing up to near 50 degrees. I've got a forecast that shows a warm-up coming our way.
All right, thanks, Gino. NBC 26 is your official Packers station. Led by the resurgence of Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay offense has put in historic numbers through 3 games. Sports director Brandon Kinnard joins us with the story.
The Packers offense is averaging a ridiculous 41 points per game. That's their most through 3 games since joining the NFL in 1921. Now, they've done it in multiple ways, but really the constant through it all has been the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has rolled to his best start since his MVP year in 2014. Maybe even better than that, to be honest. The 36-year-old says he never lost confidence, even as he played below his own standards at times over the past couple seasons.
This year, 3 games, I'm playing how I like playing. There were times the last couple of years where, we struggled as a whole, I think, and personally, but never lost confidence. And, I feel really good about where we're at. It's a plan. So that's just how we're looking at things.
A big blow for the Packers offense here, though. According to multiple reports, Allen Lazard had surgery yesterday to repair a core muscle injury. As of now, he's out indefinitely. There's not yet a timetable for his return and no word on how and when that injury happened, but just terrible timing there for the Packers and Lazard, who's coming off the best game of his young career Sunday night in New Orleans. Brandon Kinnard, NBC 26 Sports.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Still to come, connecting and inspiring how a local nonprofit is working hard to support artists.
And we are talking about cool weather today. Take a look at it. The last 4 days have been seeing below average conditions. We're going to continue that as we head into the next couple of days. And we have temperatures right now in the mid-30s, but maybe some 60s next week. We're going to be talking about that coming up.
Good Friday morning. A local nonprofit is highlighting issues in the community while also supporting artists. We take a closer look at their efforts to connect and inspire change.
Our challenge has been, how do we continue to support each other and not be in person?
Tucked away in downtown Green Bay.
We do open up once a week so people can come here. Some people make art, some people come here just to jaw, just to touch base with the people that they miss, and that's okay. We encourage that.
Is a place for artists to connect, grow, and find inspiration.
Right now, anxiety is through the roof in communities. I think sitting down and creating a piece of art is a good way to sort of let that flow out of you, to process what you're reading and taking in every day in a positive way.
It's called Sage Green Bay. They're a nonprofit that focuses on outreach through the arts.
I think in good times, artists don't always feel supported. So even in good times, they really need that support. In times like these, in really challenging times, artists are keeping us connected. Artists are keeping us in touch with our feelings. They're keeping us in touch with each other. They're keeping us thinking through the issues we have to think through.
Providing a space with donated supplies to support artists during these turbulent times.
And at the Sage Creative Community, they also have several pieces that you can borrow to help your business as an artist. They have a light box here that you can put your art items in and then take photos of so that they can sell their art on Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, and Instagram.
Recently, they had a call out to artists for a program called Unity Plus Diversity.
We really wanted to respond to the movement that was happening and the feelings that were in the air. We didn't want to create an event that was unhealthy, meaning we didn't want to gather a large group of people.
So instead, they reached out to downtown businesses to put the art on display, creating a gallery to connect us, including art on display in City Hall and the Green Bay Police Department.
They welcomed us. They loved the theme. The artists got a lot of exposure at a time when you think that they wouldn't.
The program was recently approved by Sage Green Bay's board to continue to funnel art out to local businesses with hopes of multiple benefits.
Right now, we're really focused on those locally owned downtown businesses because we know that they need support too, and there's some mutual benefit here, but maybe it grows beyond that. Who knows?
They hope to connect with more local businesses and inspire more people to explore art.
I hope to bring out more art and artists. There are a lot of artists in Green Bay that we haven't met yet, They maybe don't think of themselves as artists even.
Now, there are several ways you can support Sage Green Bay. They accept art supply donations, and next Tuesday, Luna Coffee in Bellevue will have a portion of its sales that day going to the nonprofit. You can get involved with Sage Green Bay by reaching out to them on their Facebook. All right, still ahead with fans in the stadium at some NFL games this weekend, how teams are using new technology to make sure everyone is safe.
And taking a look at September, the warmest temperatures were in the lower 80s, September 23rd. Coldest temperature was the 19th. We haven't seen values that cold since this morning. But in terms of rainfall, pretty dry, under 3/4 of an inch. It does appear we could be seeing a little bit of rain as we head into the weekend. We're going to be talking about that weekend forecast coming up after the break.
You're watching NBC 26 Today with Brooke Haves and meteorologist Michael Fish.
Good morning, I'm Emily Beyer in for Brooke Haves. Businesses are facing a new type of COVID-19 lawsuit. Take-home lawsuits are based on the idea that someone has gone to work in an environment where their employer hasn't taken adequate safety measures, then their family member gets sick. This type of lawsuit has been used for years with asbestos.
It's a lot easier to establish a causal connection in the asbestos mesothelioma world than it is in the COVID world. And I think that's going to be the challenge for the cases that are now being filed.
The most high-profile take-home lawsuit involving COVID filed so far is against an Aurora, Illinois meatpacking plant. The lawsuit says a man who worked there brought home the virus to his wife and she died from it. Her family is accusing the plant of failing to stop the spread. The company has a statement on its website saying it has taken a proactive approach to minimize the health risk of spreading the virus. The labor attorney says she expects to see high-profile cases like this, but she doesn't expect there to be an overwhelming number of take-home cases because of the issue with proving where someone was exposed. Still, she says companies are paying attention to this because they don't have the protection of the workers' compensation system in these cases.
If I go into work and I'm exposed and I become ill, there's a very strong argument that my damages are covered and limited by workers' comp exposure. But someone who's not an employee is not subject to those limitations. And in the case of serious injury or wrongful death, the potential damages are extraordinarily high.
She says companies defending these take-home lawsuits will make the case about other causes of community transmission that could explain how someone was exposed instead. If your job allows you to work from home and you have a high-risk family member, she recommends asking your boss for a short-term accommodation. A limited number of NFL fans will be able to see Sunday's Panthers-Cardinals game in person at the Panthers Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Panthers are deploying new virus-killing technology to make sure the event is a safe one in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Liz McLaughlin has more.
The Steelers answer.
Devout NFL fans live for the game day atmosphere.
There's nothing that would keep me, other than COVID, from missing a game.
After starting this season in near-vacant stadiums, some teams are starting to allow spectators.
It's just one step closer to getting back to normal in professional football and professional sports.
The Carolina Panthers will welcome around 5,000 fans at Sunday's home game against the Cardinals. To prepare, the Panthers recruited a new team member.
They sort of look like, the R2-D2 of the original Star Wars.
It's a virus-killing robot from Xenex called the Light Strike that uses UV light to disinfect surfaces throughout the stadium.
It's much more intense than any UV light that came before it.
According to a recent peer-reviewed study, researchers concluded that the robot is almost 100% effective at destroying SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19.
Different pathogens are susceptible to different wavelengths of UV. So what makes the Light Strike different than other UV robots is that it uses xenon gas in this lamp to create full spectrum UV.
Technology that was mainly used in hospitals is now being adopted by hotels, airports, and apartment complexes in the wake of a pandemic.
If it was good enough for a hospital, it was good enough for a pro football team.
Now drafting the Light Strike robot to its roster of prevention strategies that aim to let NFL fans get back in the game safely. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Technology continuing to advance. Pretty cool. All right, Gino, what's the weekend looking like this time around?
Well, it's going to be a little cooler than what we saw last weekend, Emily, and each day is going to could be a little gloomy. We have scattered rain showers on and off, and it's also going to be cooler than what we saw for yesterday, where we had high temperatures that were in the upper 50s. But you see some of that cooler weather up towards International Falls. That's that colder air from Canada that's moving down southward. But we are going to be tracking some warmer conditions, but we have to wait several more days. It looks like a pattern is going to shift, and we'll start to see a moderation in temperatures back up into the 60s. Right now, we've got temperatures in the 30s, and because of that, we've got that frost advisory in place until later this morning. And because of the colder temperatures, you want to make sure you have your plants inside. And also, we might even have another chance of some frost later tonight. So I would suggest if you've brought your plants inside, keep them inside. Maybe get a little sunlight this afternoon and then bring them back inside tonight. 38 degrees currently. We've got our sunrise at 6:52, sunset at 6:30. 32 in Pembine, 32 in Menominee. We've got 36 in Appleton. Oshkosh, Fond du Lac is at 35, as well as in Manitowoc, and lower 40s in Sturgeon Bay and also in Ephraim. Winds coming in pretty light right now out of the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. A little more breeze out of the Sturgeon Bay and Ephraim up towards York County. Low-level clouds moving in here from the northwest, and right now radar's pretty quiet. We haven't seen something like this in a little bit of time. Earlier this week, we've been dealing with a lot of scattered rain showers with these weak areas of troughs of low pressure moving into our area. You can see a cold front that has moved down to the south of us, but we have a very weak area of low pressure, what we call a trough of low pressure, that's near the upper Great Lakes, and that'll be kind of sparking off a few isolated showers. I think most of the activity will be up to the north of us, but we can't rule out an isolated sprinkle here or there. You can see that as you get into the afternoon, but the vast majority of us today, I believe, will be dry. And then as we head into tonight, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, and then for tomorrow we could see another chance of additional rain showers build in here as you get into the afternoon hours. So for today, we'll climb up to highs struggling to reach near 50 degrees. We'll have those winds coming in out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight we'll drop down to 34 under calm winds. Could have another chance of some frost and freeze out there. And then for tomorrow, we'll climb up to near 50 degrees with some scattered rain showers. Lower 50s as we get towards Sunday, then upper 50s for Monday, which the Packers will have their home game. Getting up into the mid-60s Tuesday, low 60s Wednesday and Thursday. But Emily, it does appear that as we get towards next weekend, we could be talking about perhaps some upper 60s and maybe even the 70s returning.
All right, sounds good to me. Thanks, Gino. Still to come, a unique mission. How the bed and breakfast known as Astor House is raising money and awareness for suicide prevention. There's an area bed and breakfast that is unique and rich with history. The owners of the Astor House have made it their mission to raise money and awareness for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They're using coffee, music, books, and jewelry. Our Brooke Hapes has the story.
Linda Stieber runs the Astor House Bed and Breakfast.
This house has a lot of rich history in Green Bay.
Linda lost her sister Janine to suicide in 2018.
From the day she was born, I was her best friend, and she was mine.
It was unexpected.
We did not know that was a potential in her life. We had no idea. We didn't see warning signs for that.
She describes her little sister as charismatic and a bright light of joy.
Beyond her obvious physical beauty was this amazing heart and amazing soul.
That's why Linda says it's so important for families to have these conversations about feelings. So they found a cause that supports awareness and prevention.
In the midst of the worst thing that ever has happened in our family, we wanted to do something positive.
They discovered the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, or AFSP. Then they created a CD in honor of Janine's talent. They also found a jewelry maker who would mimic Janine's style. And another unique opportunity to raise funds and awareness fell into their lap. On the anniversary of Janine's death, Linda's daughter hired the actor Scott Patterson to do a cameo. He plays Luke on Gilmore Girls.
There is no one who will be more here for you than me.
Scott reached out to the Astor House to tell them he runs a coffee company. He promoted the Astor House on a national scale, driving up business in the midst of a pandemic. You can now enjoy Scotty P's Big Mug Coffee when you stay at the bed and breakfast, knowing a portion of the proceeds goes to the AFSP.
Softly to the ground.
Linda's daughter, Lorelei, wrote a book while grieving the loss of her aunt.
It even touches very tenderly on the topic of suicide and what it feels like to have lost somebody and be living with a broken heart.
It's called The Circus of Stolen Dreams, and $3 of every book sale also goes to the AFSP.
Stay with me.
A stay at the Astor House Bed and Breakfast is about more than charming hospitality.
In the mornings, we serve breakfasts that are unlike any other.
It's an opportunity to help out a cause that is near and dear to the owner's heart. Brooke Hafes, NBC 26.
Now you can reserve a stay through Airbnb or by heading to the Astor House website. Again, all jewelry, CDs, books, and coffee is sold at the bed and breakfast, and a portion of all proceeds goes directly to the AFSP. Turning to weather now, Gino Recchia. It was definitely very chilly driving in, but I think that's just like how it's going to be, right?
Yeah, this morning it's a little cool, so I suggest people grab the jacket as they're heading out the door. I just saw on the Facebook page, Emily, up in Marquette, Michigan, they're seeing some snow from Lake Superior. So how about that? For us, we're not seeing any snowflakes, so I think we'll wait until that season starts, but still a chilly start to the day where we've got temperatures right now into the mid and upper 30s across the Fox Valley, but a couple 32s in Menominee, Pembine, even Aconto was down into the upper 20s at some point. So it was a chilly start to the day, but we are tracking some warmer weather. If you're just joining us, I'll be talking about that extended forecast coming up in the next half hour.
We continue to follow breaking news this morning. The President and First Lady have both tested positive for COVID-19. The news came overnight, just hours after we learned senior Trump aide Hope Hicks came down with the virus. Hicks has been traveling with the Trumps throughout the week and reported having symptoms Wednesday on the way back from Trump's rally in Minnesota. The President and First Lady now become part of the 7 million person infection toll the U.S. has reached. Trump's age of 74 puts him at higher risk for coronavirus complications. His doctor says both he and Melania are well at this time as they head into quarantine. It's unclear right now how many other people at the White House may have been exposed. Numbers from the New York Times show Northeast Wisconsin has some of the worst COVID outbreaks, not just in the state, but in the entire country. The Oshkosh-Neenah area is listed as #1 for greatest number of new cases relative to population. Green Bay is 3rd in the country, and Appleton is 4th. Turning to weather now as we take a live look outside at Lambeau Field this morning. Love seeing those lights. A chilly morning to end our work week. Gino.
Yeah, it is a cold start to the day. Our photographer is probably wearing a jacket because we've got temperatures in the 30s. We've got frost advisories that are in effect for many areas across our viewing area. Up to the north, we've already seen the growing season end, but the rest of the 20 viewing area, we've got those frost advisories for this morning. And there will be some perhaps frost advisories once again tonight. And I'm talking about after the day today because it looks like another round of low to mid 30s are expected. It's a little warmer right now in Green Bay, 38 degrees. We have some low-level clouds that are moving in here, acting as a thermal blanket, so that's starting to prevent those temperatures from falling even further down. But still at the freezing mark in Pembine and Menominee, we've got 35 in Aconto, 36 in Clintonville, but the waters around Door County really helping out, only in the lower 40s this morning, so certainly not too cold out there compared to the rest of us. Winds coming in out of the northwest, about 3 to 5 miles per hour, pretty calm winds, a lot of goose eggs out there. It doesn't look like we'll be seeing much rain coverage like what we dealt with over the last couple of days, but there could be a few sprinkles out there as you get into the afternoon. Looks like a high temperature near 50 today. I'll talk about that full forecast coming up later.
All right, thanks, Gino. Turning to Decision 2020 now. The state's top election official says there were no Wisconsin absentee ballots in mail discovered in a ditch last week near Appleton. The Outagamie County Sheriff's Department initially said and repeated that deputies found several absentee ballots in 3 trays of mail on the roadside, but not ballots from Wisconsin. The Sheriff's Department cannot comment on which states the ballots came from because the Postal Service is still investigating. Across Wisconsin, areas are still looking for poll workers to staff stations and process absentee ballots. Our Rachel Hopmeyer shows us how Green Bay officials are preparing for the 2020 election.
As of Thursday, the city of Green Bay was short 118 election inspectors for the November election.
Please press 1 on your phone now to let us know that you would like to apply to be a poll worker.
Mayor Genrich participated in a tele-town hall focused on poll worker recruitment and voting navigation in 2020.
So we've got the PPE in place here. We've ordered a bunch of additional equipment, high-speed tabulators, and laptops and all kinds of things to make sure that we can have a successful election in November.
The mayor's office said they had 307 poll workers signed up going into tonight's call and were looking for 425. That's more than usually needed on Election Day, but the State Elections Commission says it's necessary in 2020.
Many of our jurisdictions still need poll workers. There's more than 30,000 poll workers that are needed to run a general election. And in many ways, I think that number could even increase here in November of 2020, just because of the volume of absentees paired with the number of people that could show up at the polls on Election Day.
These additional poll workers could help process the higher number of absentee ballots requested in Wisconsin this year compared to 2016.
It's 120,000 ballots that have been issued at this point versus the 1.2 million that we're seeing at this point. So quite a difference there.
Which, per state rules, aren't allowed to be processed or counted before polls open on November 3rd.
You look at that, it's almost like having to run 2 elections on the same day, right?
Rachel Hopmeyer, NBC 26.
Thanks, Rachel. The mayor's office says they had over 200 poll workers sign up last night, and many areas are still looking for help. All right, still to come in sports, the Packers offense is off to a historic start, but is it sustainable? Why their star receiver thinks yes.
And we are seeing a little more quiet conditions during the day today. Might have a stray shower here or there, but more of us will be dry today. Temperatures climbing up right around 50 degrees, so you'll want a jacket today. A little cooler than what we've dealt with the last couple of days, but we are talking about a warm-up coming off, and I'll talk about that later on.
And now sports with Brandon Kennard.
We'll see as we finish out this week. Got a lot of time left, but feeling a lot better this week than last week.
Davante Adams returned to practice yesterday. He was limited, still didn't commit to playing Monday night against the Falcons, but said he's feeling better, and that's a step in the right direction, especially because they might need him. Just gutting news for the Packers yesterday as Allen Lazard had surgery to repair a core muscle injury. There is no timetable for his return. He's out indefinitely. One of the hallmarks, though, of the still young Matt LaFleur era thus far has been finding a way of just getting it done no matter who's on the field. They're averaging a ridiculous 41 points per game so far. Now, is that sustainable? History would tell you no, but Adams has other ideas.
I feel like it's not realistic to think that we'll have 40 every game, but it's not unrealistic to think that we can do it either. So it's the way that we're playing right now as offense, are complementary our defense as well. We've been able to put up some good points, and it's not like they're not just necessarily coming one after another. I feel like throughout the whole game we're able to sustain some drives and make that happen. So I feel like it's very doable.
A look at the injury report here. Again, Lazard out indefinitely after having surgery. Defensively, Kenny Clark and Zadarius Smith were both limited in practice. Christian Kirksey did not practice. He'll likely miss a couple of weeks with the pectoral injury. We've covered the coronavirus's impact on high school football quite a bit this fall, but some of the precautions that high school volleyball teams are taking are actually even more drastic. Chancellor Johnson is with the defending Division II state champs.
A portion of the way through the Luxembourg-Casco girls volleyball season, this isn't exactly how they envision defending their state championship.
We went into the season not knowing if we would have a season or not, and it's really nice that we get to take advantage of this and play this fall because some teams aren't able to do that, so we're very fortunate.
Due to the threat of COVID-19 halting the Spartans season, the girls are savoring every moment.
It means everything for our girls. I mean, this is about the girls and giving them the best opportunity that they can to play in a year that's going to be different. And so being able to see them bond on the court and at practice every day and just be on the court is an amazing feeling.
Playing this season does come with protocols, including wearing a mask both on and off the court and less physical celebrations.
It's definitely different for us because we're used to high-fiving, patting each other's backs, etc. But this year we're doing a lot of elbowing and giving knuckle bumps and stuff like that, which is definitely not the same, but it's what we're getting used to.
Even in a unique year, head coach Jeff Fry has his team in position to make a run at another state title, an opportunity his girls relish.
It's always been a dream of mine, and I know it's been a dream of almost every single girl on that team to get there and win that state championship. And I know it would just be incredible if we could do it again.
At Luxembourg Casco High School, Chancellor Johnson, NBC 26 Sports.
All right, thank you, Chancellor. And as for high school football, several schools are still playing. We'll have coverage tonight on the Friday Night Blitz of several games, including our game of the week. It's the Apple Bowl, the 50th all-time meeting between Xavier and Fox Valley Lutheran. We'll see you back here tonight for Friday Night Blitz.
Thanks, Brandon. Meanwhile, the Brewers season has come to an end after a 3-0 loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers late last night. The Brewers were swept out of the postseason as they lost 2 games in the best-of-3 wild-card series in LA. The Dodgers will now go on to play either the San Diego Padres or the St. Louis Cardinals in the National League Division Series. All right, still to come, a relief bill passes the House, but why a vote in the Senate may be unlikely.
Temperatures have been below average over the last 4 days. We're going to continue that trend over the coming days into the weekend, but maybe a little bit of a warm up as we head towards next week. We're going to break down that full forecast coming up after this commercial break.
You're watching NBC 26 Today with Brooke Haves and meteorologist Michael Fish.
Good morning, I'm Emily Byer in for Brooke Haves. The House just narrowly passed its new COVID relief proposal last night, a move that isn't promising as it goes to the Republican-led Senate. The Democratic bill went through with a 214 to 207 vote with no Republican support in the House. The $2 trillion aid would reinstate $600 a week unemployment benefits, among other things. This week, the White House offered a deal that includes $400 a week and a higher overall price tag of $1.6 trillion. Originally, Republicans were looking at a bill for $1 trillion or less. Still, uncertainty remains if lawmakers will pass new aid before the election, as many Americans continue to struggle amid the pandemic. A visa ban that left many businesses struggling to fill positions has been temporarily lifted. In June, President Trump banned visas that allow people from other countries to come work in the U.S. for a certain amount of time. It was a move Trump said would open up more jobs for Americans, but many didn't apply. That led to several organizations suing the Trump administration. Yesterday, a federal judge ruled in their favor to lift the ban while the case is further reviewed. Work visas will now be allowed for businesses under the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, National Association of Manufacturers, National Retail Federation, TechNet, and Intrax. To the rebound now, organizations across the state of Wisconsin are working to help kids and teenagers process their emotions during this pandemic. The Social Development Commission in Milwaukee has found a great exercise to try with your children. Have them draw how they're feeling. This is what 16-year-old Ilana created, which she hopes is a source of inspiration.
Me putting it on there made me feel better because it's like, okay, it's telling me not to give up on life. It's telling me to stay positive no matter what, whatever situation I'm going through, to just keep going.
Experts say this exercise can help kids let their feelings out because leaving those issues neglected can lead to them feeling under pressure. As Hollywood gears up for what they're hoping is a blockbuster holiday movie season, studios continue to do hybrid releases, movies that will appear both in select theaters and on demand. Here's Raphael Seth with a look at this week's box office preview.
Caitlin exploded. What? Like a bomb? No, like a balloon?
Romantic sparks may lead to more than just fireworks in Spontaneous. 13 Reasons Why star Katherine Langford plays a high schooler in this one. She's got a serious case of senioritis, but her world is turned inside out when students at her school start randomly exploding. But when she meets a quirky loner, she begins what could be a very combustible relationship. Spontaneous is in limited theaters this week.
You may be humanity's only chance to find their cure.
Cody Smith-McPhee clears the air in 2016. 2067. The X-Men cast member stars as an underground worker drone in this dark future. The Earth has run out of oxygen and the new synthetic air is causing widespread death. All hope seems lost until a mysterious message tells time scientists to send the tunnel digger into the future to save the past. 2067 is in select theaters and on demand.
I can't even remember how we got back to the room last night.
Maggie Q discovers murder roofies in Death of Me. The Divergent star is on a secluded island in the Pacific with her husband. The two wake up one morning with a hangover and no memory of the previous night, but a video of that night shows Luke Hemsworth murdering the wife who's sitting right next to him, which raises more than a few questions. Death of Me is rated R. That's the box office preview. Raphael Seth, NBC News.
Ooh, lots of thrillers in there, but it's that time of year. Right, Gino?
It is. I mean, one movie that I'm looking forward to, is the new James Bond film. I'm disappointed they pushed it back to November.
I know. That is another one I really cannot wait for. I'm a huge James Bond fan. But keep your fingers crossed. We'll see it soon.
Exactly. You know, Daniel Craig, you'll never let me down. It is a cool day today. We had temperatures yesterday that were in the upper 50s. But how about International Falls into only the mid 40s? I was actually just taking a look at some of our low temperatures that we saw this morning. A lot of us did get that freezing mark. We've just warmed up since then. Above average temperatures, though, will be returning as we head towards next week. You can see that on your screen. But for the time being, that frost advisory is still around our area for this morning. But also, I would not be surprised if we have another round of frost later tonight, with temperatures once again getting down into the lower and mid 30s. So if you brought your plants inside, you kept them covered into this morning, I would suggest probably do that for one more night. Temperatures are right now at 38. We did see an overnight low of 32 in Green Bay. So yes, the frost was here. Sunrise at 6:52, sunset at 6:30. Up towards Pembine and Menominee, lower 30s, mid 30s across the Fox Valley, upper 30s along the shoreline to near 40 degrees in the Door County and Door Peninsula. Winds coming in northwest, about 5 miles per hour. It'll be 5 to 10 mile per hour northwest winds during the day today. And you're seeing on Lake Michigan a little bit of lake effect rain showers starting to pop up. That's going to be the case for most of the day today. There's also a weak area of what we call a trough of low pressure, a little upper level disturbance. That could also add a little bit of a stray shower here or there, but I think most of us are going to remain dry. You can see Skycast is showing some cloud cover building in here by the afternoon. Could we see a sprinkle here or there? Yes, but the coverage-wise is going to be very minimal. I would say the vast majority of us will be staying dry today. Probably not one of those days where you need that umbrella. Then as we head into tonight, into tomorrow, a little bit of cloud cover starting to build in here. And by the afternoon, we could have another round of a few light rain showers. But as you can tell, coverage won't be too significant until we get to late Saturday night into Sunday. So temperature-wise today, we climb up to high right around 50. We'll have northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour with an isolated stray shower. Tonight we'll cool down to 34 with calm winds and partly cloudy skies. For your Saturday, high temperature near 50, could have a few stray showers, and the coverage should start to gradually increase as you get into the overnight, carrying over into Sunday, which has an additional chance of some rain showers, 52. 57 Monday, 65 Tuesday, 62 on Wednesday, and then 60 degrees on Thursday. So we do see a little brief warm-up, but then it looks like, Emily, as we get towards next week, and that's really when that warmer air starts to build in here.
All right, thanks, Gino. Still to come, help discover planets. Why NASA is looking for volunteer scientists to help hunt for new worlds. But first, let's take a live look outside in our world. Our Green Bay Tower Cam here looking live, still waiting for that sun coming up later and later. You're watching NBC 26 today. Stay with us. Happy Friday. You don't have to be a NASA scientist to help discover new planets. NASA has launched a website called Planet Patrol, where members of the public can collaborate with astronomers to hunt for new worlds. They'll be sorting through images collected by NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, or TESS. Over the course of a year, TESS captures hundreds of thousands of snapshots, but it's too many for scientists to examine without help. That's where the volunteers come in. They'll answer questionnaires as they sift through images to help researchers narrow down the list of potential planets. Sounds like a fun project. The Tampa Bay Lightning are celebrating their Stanley Cup championship in true Florida fashion. That includes on boats and jet skis. Lord Stanley's Cup made its way down the Hillsborough River through the heart of Tampa, where fans could get a glimpse of hockey's most famous trophy. The party following Monday's victory is still going strong. Fans joined the Bolts at Raymond James Stadium later for a sold-out championship celebration. Saturday Night Live returns for a new season this weekend. SNL is giving fans a first look at actor Jim Carrey suited up as Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. Carrey appears alongside Maya Rudolph, who plays Biden's running mate, Senator Kamala Harris. You can catch the season premiere tomorrow night right here on NBC 26. Can't wait for that. Whether you hate it or love it, fall wouldn't be complete without pumpkin spice, right? And now the Honey Baked Ham Company is testing out a pumpkin spice glazed turkey breast. You can get one during the month of October if you're in a select U.S. city. The company says the flavors will add some seasonal flair to its traditional sweet and crunchy glaze. It says you can choose between roasted or smoked varieties. Interesting. And if you're looking for your pumpkin spice fix, there's now a drive-through at the State Fair Park for people to pick up pumpkin spice cream puffs. Ooh, that sounds a little bit better. The pickup goes until 4 p.m. on Sunday, and pre-orders are strongly encouraged. If you order a dozen or more, you can have them delivered. A 3-pack will cost you $12, and a 6-pack is $22. I may have to get that shipped to my house. Not a huge fan of the regular cream puffs. Pumpkin spice cream puffs. Gino, what do you think? That actually sounds pretty good to me.
I mean, boy, that there's so much types of like pumpkin spice everything, Emily, nowadays.
Right?
And it's just every year it's like something new.
Of course, has to be.
So, yeah, I guess so. Keep you on your tippy toes. This morning we are a little chilly. We have seen temperatures that got down to right around the freezing mark, especially along Highway 29 and northward. But now with some low-lying cloud cover moving in, that's helped us warm up. The cloud cover acts like a thermal blanket and prevents some of that radiation that we see during the day from the sun that heats us up from escaping up into the atmosphere. So we are seeing a little bit of cloud cover moving down to the south, but overall pretty quiet in terms of rainfall coverage. Could have a stray shower during the afternoon, but most of us will be dry, as you can see right there. Frost advisory still in effect this morning, but it does look like we could have another chance as we get to tonight.
All right, thanks, Gino. Stay with us. We have another full hour of news and weather.